Hi guys, I'm Mandi, DIY enthusiast, and I'm so excited today to show you how to install basic box molding. Box molding is a really simple way to elevate the entire design of a space. It is going to add an extra layer of texture, make it feel a little bit nicer. Today I'm going to show you how to paint a wall, how to design the layout for your molding, how to measure, cut, and install it. The finished project is going to look so good in your house. The first step of this project is to get our paint color on the wall before we install the molding, because it's 1,000 times easier to roll a flat surface than it is a surface that has texture on it. I'm painting this entire room this really good olivey kind of army green color. When I say the entire room, I mean everything. We are going completely monochromatic. So baseboard, walls, ceiling, everything is going to be this really good green color. Our wall paint is dry, so the next step of this project is my absolute favorite. We are figuring out the design layout for our molding. With a project like this, you can do absolutely anything you want. All of the options are on the table. The one rule that I have though is that you need to design it in odd numbers. An odd number gives your eye somewhere to rest. It feels balanced visually, and it's just a really important part of design. I don't know about you guys, but I am a super visual person, and I have to see things laid out before I commit and start nailing things to the wall. So painter's tape is my best friend. So the layout that I'm going to do, we're going for a more modern, casual vibe. We're gonna do 3 large ones on the top and 3 smaller ones on the bottom. I'm not worried about it being level, I'm not measuring it. I just kind of want to see if it feels the way that I want it to feel. This is kind of like a really rough road map. I am loving this large box and the small box. It adds just the perfect amount of variety to this space. Guys, I think we have a winner! I have my rough design laid out on the wall in painter's tape. I have a general direction of where we're going. So now we're gonna figure out the measurements so that we can make our cuts. The first measurement that we are going to get is the width of each of our boxes. So we're gonna take the total width of our entire wall. We are going to subtract each of our gaps in inches. And then we're gonna divide that number by the number of boxes that we have. So for my space, the width of each of my boxes is 45 inches. We're gonna use the same formula to figure out the height of each of our boxes. So we're gonna measure from our ceiling all the way down to our baseboard. We are going to subtract the gaps. So we have a gap on the bottom between the molding and the base, a gap between the 2 boxes, and then a gap between the top box and the ceiling. So the height of my large box is 80 inches. The height of my small box is 26 inches. Your box size might look different than mine, but the formula is the same. The first thing that I do before I actually make any measurements and marks on my molding is cut 45-degree angle, because when you take a measurement for your molding, you are measuring the long side of the molding. A 45-degree angle cut is what is going to give us that perfect 90-degree angle. Now that I have my angle cut, I'm gonna measure the width of my boxes, which is 45 inches. And then I know where I need to make my next cut. So now I'm gonna rotate my saw blade to 45 degrees, lock it in place, and then I'm gonna make my next cut. One down, 5,000 to go. So now we're gonna get the height of our boxes. It's the same process. We're gonna cut a 45-degree angle in one end, measure and mark it, and then we're gonna cut a 45-degree angle the opposite way. Our molding is measured, cut, and cleaned. Now we get to paint it. This is our wall color. This is a fun little hack. Make sure that everything is raised up off of the surface a little bit. It gives you a cleaner paint edge. I'm painting these the same color as the wall because remember, we're going for a major monochromatic color wash. I'm gonna keep painting. Once all of our molding is painted and dried, we can install it. Our molding is painted, cut, and now it's time to install. So the first thing that I'm going to do is find the dead center of my wall. My wall is 140 inches, so I am going to measure and mark at 70. And now I'm gonna take my first piece of molding and I'm going to find the dead center of that. Now I'm gonna get the laser level so that we have our exact line of where we are going to install this piece. So I have this set at the exact height that I want my molding to be. If you don't have a laser level, you can use a regular level. This piece is like critically important to make sure that it is level and straight. So take your time, make sure that it's lined up exactly where it needs to be. A pinnular is perfect because it leaves really small holes, doesn't damage your wall very much. And honestly, the holes are so small that a lot of times you don't even need to fill them. It looks perfect. All right, horizontal piece is in. Next, we are going to install our vertical. Using the level, again, make sure my corners are lined up. And now I'm just gonna work my way up this vertical piece, making sure that it's lined up with a laser. So good! Oh my gosh, I'm already obsessed with it. We have our left side up. The next thing we're gonna do is move the laser level, get the right side up, and celebrate how cute this project is going to be. Moment of truth. If I did everything right, it should fit. She did it, guys! Woo! All right. We have our first box on, and it is so easy from here. You almost don't even need a level. Once you have all of your horizontal bottom pieces of your boxes set, you don't even need to use anything to measure. You just use a spacer. So this is just an extra piece of molding that I'm using. Putting it against the molding that's installed, have my level line, and I'm just gonna make sure that this corner is touching. Pull it down. And now I'm going to go along. Okay, so our next piece that we're putting in is our left vertical. Watch how easy this is. You're gonna be like, I totally can do this project. All right, so you're gonna hit your corner, make sure everything is lined up. You ready for this? This is my favorite part because it makes it so easy. Make sure that the piece that you are installing is pressed firmly against the spacer so everything is nice and tight. All of our top boxes are in. Now we're gonna install our lower boxes. So we wanna make sure that our intersection is perfectly lined up between all 4 of the boxes. So you're gonna use 2 spacers. One is going to line up horizontally, one is going to line up vertically. Here's our piece. So I'm just making sure that this corner is hitting the spacer and is pressed firmly up. Once we have our horizontal piece in, we're gonna go vertically. And then the moment of truth, once again, we cut everything right and it lined up. Ta-da! She did it again, you guys! So great. It's the best feeling ever. If you're like me, you may run into outlets. while you are installing your box molding. So what I did, if you look close, you can see we finished this piece off with an angled piece of the molding, and what it's going to do is stop about 1 inch away from our outlet cover. So that's an option. You also can build a little box around it if you want. You can just cut it off and let it dive directly into the outlet cover. There's a whole bunch of options depending on the style of molding that you're doing. Oh my gosh, it looks so much better than the tape. The last step is to go through, caulk our seams, do any touch-up paint, and then we get to move furniture in. Is it possible to have a favorite corner of your house? Because if it is, this is mine. I love this bold, muddy green color, and it looks incredible washed over the baseboard, the molding, the ceiling, the walls, everything. And then the box molding just adds this extra layer of texture and intention. It feels really traditional and still really cool. And look at how much taller the ceilings look. I absolutely love this project, and I hope that you guys did too.